Okay, we are back in the rack, and let's see. We've got the TrueNAS rig, we've got the old XCP&G rig that's now turned off, and we've got the Proxmox rig. These are all using DDR4, and the new Proxmox rig is low on memory. It's got 64 gigs, it needs more RAM. This machine, I think it has at least 128 gigs in it, but I don't recall the speed. Now the Proxmox rig and the TrueNAS rig, I ordered those two motherboards, CPUs, and RAM combos at the same time. These have got matching memory, so I need to get into the old XCP&G rig, find out what memory is in there, what speed, and how much, and then make a plan from there of if I'm going to steal RAM out of here, put it up here, and then take the RAM that's in there and put it down in there. Like, I need to figure out where I'm moving all the RAM to optimize my memory capacity needs. It's going to take a little figuring out because having extra RAM on TrueNAS means a bigger cache, but having extra room, extra memory on Proxmox means being able to run more VMs. So I'll have to see what I've got and then try to make a plan from there. So I'm going to get at least this one computer out of the rack today. I've got the WHL hockey game on, and I'll bring you back when I have learned some info. All right, free the rack. Time to pop out one of these sticks and see what we got. Fully populated on, there's 2 CPUs and there's 4 banks, so there's actually more sticks of RAM here than I thought. What we have? Untech, DDR4 2400. Now I gotta go look up the eBay listings for these systems and see what the clock frequency is on this. Oh. 2133. The memory in the old XCP&G rig is faster than the memory currently in the Proxmox rig. This changes everything. I expected it to be slower. Think that the obvious thing to do is to stuff as much of this faster RAM into the XCP&G rig and then move the memory in the XCP&G rig to the TrueNAS rig so that I get a bigger cache there. Yeah, I think that's the plan. That means I gotta take basically everything out of the rack. I need to take this one out of the rack anyway. That's just the one that's connected up to the TV, and it is a 4790K. I've got a less power hungry computer that is faster that I can be putting into that chassis. So yeah, literally every computer is coming out of the rack. I've got my work cut out for me. I need you to ask, but Seattle's losing. What are you going to do? I'm not even too mad about it. Vancouver is just like absolutely decimating. All right, making some good progress. I got all the old sticks of memory out, and I'm ready to start sticking new sticks in. So good progress. Not so much on the hockey game. It's commercial now, but it's 4-0 Vancouver. All right, the transplant is complete. It was really tricky to get my hand back in here to unlatch the old sticks, and and then I had to very carefully get down in here to slot in the new sticks. But got all sticks in there. This computer should now be upgraded with both faster RAM. That was a pleasant surprise. And 128 gigs, so twice as much RAM as well. So hopefully this resolves some of the memory bottlenecks I was running into. Seattle still losing 4-0. I don't think we're gonna bounce back. All right, we're not fully buttoned up yet. I just have the lid back on. I did my best to do this without taking it out of the rack because I don't want to have to remember what cable goes to what port. All right, hit the boot button, hoping for a boot splash, and start spamming the delete key, and hopefully we can get into the BIOS and set our memory speed. Boop, 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 boop. Well, this means it posted, so science of life. Yay! All right. So let's see what our memory speed is. Memory clock auto doesn't know its speed. I think I'll bring you back when I figure out what memory speed I am actually running at. Okay, DMI decode told me my memory speed, so all good there. I see 16 gigs per stick, and I've got all my sticks of RAM, so we are in great shape. So I'm going to continue to bring up the Proxmox server. I think tomorrow I will focus on moving memory into the TrueNAS rig. It occurred to me that because there's so many slots due to the dual CPUs on this machine, that I can even put faster RAM into the TrueNAS rig. So everybody gets 128 gigs of RAM. Oh, and Seattle is still losing. All right, new day, more progress, new hockey game. Got all the RAM out of this computer, and what I've decided to do this evening is I want to move the Proxmox server down a spot so that the TrueNAS server and the Proxmox server are right beside each other. And then this case, I'm going to take the motherboard out. I've got an old Ryzen system that I'm going to put into this chassis. The rails for this empty 4U space, and the rails for this 4U space, they're all the same rail. So moving this down, easy, and then putting this one back in is going to be easy. So it's just a matter of getting the components in here replaced. The old media computer that was in this top spot, top 4U of my compute stack here. That computer is going to be permanently out, so there'll be one less computer in the rack presently. So that's the current plan. We'll see if I change it along the way. At some point, I'm going to have to turn off that computer, the TrueNAS rig, which means that the Proxmox rig that depends on it is also going to have to get turned off again. All right, quick update. I've got my old Ryzen rig in here. I think this is a 3200G. I don't remember. I think these are 8 gig sticks of 3200 DDR4. Should just pop one out, find out. Let's find out together. Let's see. Oh, 16 gigs. All right, so 32 gigs. That's great. I don't know why I did this, but the old server that used to be in this chassis, the dual Intel rig, I had a 480 gig NVMe SSD. I didn't even realize I had that. I was going to save it for another system, but then I ran into issues with getting this drive into the slot. It's not like this computer needs to be fast, but like this is literally made for these racks. Like what? It goes into this one just fine. It's the exact same thing. Like why does this fit in here but not over here? Whatever. I should be using something better than spinning Rust anyway. So the 480 gig NVMe SSD ended up underneath the cooling plate here. And I think I'm going to swap this out for something a little less beefy. I don't need 750 watts of power just for a 3200G. Oh, Toronto up 1-0. All right, choices ahead of me. So power supply is out. I already know which one I'm going to be putting in here. I believe it's 650 watts, so not terribly different, but whatever. But what's the decision that I have ahead of me? I have to decide if I want to put a graphics card in here or if I want to stay low power and just trust the 3200G to do everything that I need. Part of me likes the idea of being able to use this for Steam games. Part of me wants to have this be low power. The graphics card that I would put in here, I've got two options. I've got a 1660 Super and I've got a 2080 Ti, both NVIDIA options. But it feels silly to put one of those in here when the CPU already has a reasonably capable graphics option. And the only reason why I'm even considering it is because there's one more PCI Express slot here than I thought. I'm going to be putting in a 10 gig card, which can go into the slot over here. I'm going to be putting in a TV tuner card, which is just buy one, so it can go into the buy one slot. But that means that there is potentially one more slot, one more buy 16 slot to use. I like the idea of being able to play games on the TV, but chances are I'm not going to, and the games that I play are going to be probably mostly emulation, just because that's what I normally play anyway. The APU is more than enough to handle that, and I like the idea of being lower power. I feel like the more I talk about it, the more I'm talking myself into not putting a graphics card in here. All right, not much progress, but a little bit. I got the headers all wired up, and I've got the USB wired up. I've got the 10 gig NIC and the TV tuner card installed, and I was going to relocate the power supply from that computer over there over to here, but that one's a bronze power supply. The one that I took out, it's a higher wattage, but it's gold. But the computer is only going to consume as much wattage as it needs. So even though that's lower wattage, this is probably still going to be more power efficient. So this is going back in. It is now 3-2 New York. So yeah, I think Toronto's going to lose this one. It's only 3 minutes in the third. Okay, status update. I've upgraded the RAM in the TrueNest rig. This guy is back to the same power supply. I still need to move this server down, then get this guy into the space that this guy is currently at. Alright, update you when I have an update to update you with. Everything's up. Everything seems to be healthy. No alarms. I just made myself some nachos, so I'm going to eat these. 1:30 a.m. on day 3 of this project. There is no hockey game tonight, so oh well. Disappointing, but you'll notice that this case is back in the rack. This case is back out of the rack, and that is because I realized that for a computer connected to the TV, I probably want to use, things like a keyboard, a mouse, a video game controller, which means I need USB ports that are going to be easily accessible. And, being behind this locked front is not a good plan. I've had problems with getting connectivity through this metal front. Also, it's just inconvenient to have to open this up to get at the USB ports. So I've moved the Ryzen system that used to be in this case into that case. That is the case that used to have the 4790K in it. I did not end up installing the 2080 Ti graphics card. So this is just on the APU, the 3200G from AMD. That should be more than enough. I did end up installing a 10 gig network card in there, and then it's also got the TV tuner card in there. I don't pick up any television channels around here of any consequence. Ooh. No, I take that back. I do plan on using the TV tuner card, but that's for a future video. Little teaser for you. The only thing left to do in the rack really is get operating system installed on the media computer, get Plex and a few other apps installed on there, configure the networking, configure NFS back to the storage server. So everything that is left can happen with the side panels back on, door back on. It's all buttoned up. It's just basically software at this point. If you want to see me install everything on the media center computer, let me know. Plex, Kodi, maybe some other things. I don't know. Let me know. Tell me in the comments down below. That'll do it for this one. Thank you for following along on the journey. And I'm going the hell to bed because I'm tired. All this mess is for tomorrow.